Hey, welcome back to the things we know. Today, we're talking about allyship, LGBTQ plus advocacy, parenting gender diverse kids, and what it means to create emotional safety for young people who are trying to live authentically in a world that is not feeling safe or affirming.
We're also here talking about fear, uncertainty, polarization, and the reality that support cannot stay theoretical when LGBTQ plus people, especially trans and gender diverse youth, are being debated in public, in families, in schools, and in legislation.
So, our guest today is Rachel Hulstein-Lowe. Rachel is a gender diversity therapist, a parent coach, writer, and a speaker. She helps gender diverse youth embrace their authentic selves and supports moms and dads in transforming their parenting from anxious to empowered. With over 20 years as a licensed therapist, her Affirm coaching program combines clinical expertise and personal insight to inspire change and foster understanding for today's parent.
So today we're going there. We are talking about real allyship, affirmation, parenting through uncertainty, and the cost of passivity, and what it looks like to move from anxious to empowered and enfranchised. Welcome, Rachel. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here too. So
Awesome.
thanks for
Okay,
letting me join you.
absolutely. I've been looking forward to this for sure. Okay, we're going to start out with just a little something about you particularly, because our whole mission is to let women know that the best is not behind them, that they can create a life they love at any age. So we loved how you said you did not know at 50 that this would be your journey, but now you have a better sense of why you are here and what you're trying to do. And I love that because that's so perfect for our women who think like, well, I'm at a certain age. I guess if I don't know my purpose now, I don't know it. So what helped you become clearer?
Well, at 50, it was the height of the pandemic. I, along with my husband, right, parenting our two kids, who at the time were, I guess, 13 and 7, 13 and 6. Wow, is that possible? God, that's crazy. And we were also taking care of my elderly dad, who we
Mm.
had to move out of his home due to some health crises that he was experiencing. So we very quickly became a multi generational house.
Mm.
And in the midst of all that, I celebrated my 50th birthday. And I realized, oh my goodness, I I want to work different than I'm working, and
Mm.
like the time is now. And a lot of that was just reflecting on what my own parents did. I remembered what 50 was for each of them and realized both of them had these really massive kind of pivots in their lives at that age. And maybe they went through a similar kind of transcendence that I did of like, okay, time is now.
Mm.
And those were major reasons for the kind of the impetus. Well, what does it mean to work differently? What do I even mean by that? And what I kept landing is I wanted to work bigger.
Mm.
And at the time I had been supporting gender diverse kids and their parents for, I guess, well, 5 years at that point, and felt like I had a good grounding in that work. I wasn't exclusively seeing that client population, but it was a growing subset of the work I was doing with anxious kids and anxious parents.
Mm.
And then my own kid, who is now approaching 19 and just finished their freshman year in college, my own kid came out as non-binary.
Mm.
And so here I had been doing this work and felt very, very connected and very invested in supporting these people professionally. Little did I know that I was raising my own trans kid. So that really prompted me to like, well, working bigger means I want to change the world for my kid.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, to be perfectly honest, and not just for that kid, but for both and for all. Like I really,
Mm.
it really became, I'm doing this, like I know my work always has ripple effects, and I really believe in that. Right? It's not just the people in my room that I'm impacting. I know I'm impacting a whole system of people that are connected to my client. But I wanted to work even larger than that. So that's what prompted a series of interviews and podcast guesting and writing and a variety of ways to really be out there with the work that I've done for a long time, but delivering it to hopefully a much larger and broader audience.
Mm.
Love it.
So when you talk about wanting to work bigger, I got to imagine that you had, if that's a big, transcendence for you to start using your voice more boldly. What did you have to like work through or let go of to do that?
Well, I think I'm still doing that work, Carrie. I'm perfectly honest because right, I think right, it's an ongoing evolution. But wow, that's such a beautiful question. I think part of what I had to work through on the granular level was again like going back to in some ways thinking I had worked through my boxes, I'd worked through my biases, having done this work for roughly 5 years, and realizing it's very different. It's one thing to be the clinician, it is incredibly different to be the parent. And that I absolutely had my own ways of gendering my parenting and right, a very gendered worldview and things and expectations that I have for both of my kids that are absolutely coming from a binary way of thinking about gender and sex. And that I really needed to do that unpacking. So that was part of finding the voices, doing that self-discovery. And some of that was through consultation, and some of that was through reading and listening to other leaders in the field. But a lot of it, honestly, was sitting down with my family and having really honest conversations about, okay, this is what I think this means, but why don't you tell me your story? Or this is kind of how I've been framing it for the last 5 years, but what am I missing? What don't I know? And there was plenty. There's plenty I didn't know. I'm still learning.
This goes beautifully into like we wanted to kind of start with the allyship and the cost of passivity, right? Because you had stated passivity or advocacy, either one is going to directly impact the people in our lives who identify as LGBTQ plus. So can you talk a little bit about what passivity communicates to someone who's gender diverse or non-binary or just in that world and what they like, how passivity can impact them?
Well, I think passivity can have the unintended outcome of communicating irrelevance, right? I think we can, particularly if we're majority identity holders, that it is so easy to live in the assumptions, right? And not really ever have to experience the vulnerability of exposing ourselves, of really stepping into who we are and really announcing to the world. It's so easy just to let people put things on us because more or less they're probably going to be accurate. And if we're not thinking about it in those terms, it's so easy not to think about it. It's so easy not to know. And what I think that communicates to our marginalized communities is their irrelevance, and that again and again, the onus is on them to step into that space and step into that vulnerability, right? So I don't have to do any work, right? I'm looking for you, right? You've got to show up and let me know, and then then I can decide. It's like I still hold the power, and I hold the position of authority here, because I haven't. Society is not demanding me to do something different.
I mean, this is no different than how we talk about white people and expecting people of color to tell us what to do. We'll do it. No, like just fucking do it.
Especially to people who are like, I don't see color. Right?
Yes. Right.
But I was thinking about someone I care about a lot, shared with me that they were ready for their son to come out. And I'm just going to say, I don't care. And I was like, oh my gosh. like, please say anything but
Oh my
that.
gosh.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
they really thought that that would be the right thing to respond with. They weren't trying to be a dick.
Right.
So um, it was
Yeah.
like, actually care
Mm,
so freaking much, please.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Right. Right. So I think too, like I maybe irrelevance isn't the right word. I think there's other words that are escaping me at the moment, but I think something that can happen in those moments that we're not expecting, right? It's a little bit of a gotcha, right? A little bit, okay, wow, I didn't know that was coming. In this case, it sounds like on some level, this parent is expecting this, but is still framing it through their lens,
right.
right? So I'm still experiencing you through me. And that might sound woo woo, but particularly as parents, I think we can make that mistake is that we forget that no, this person here has done so much calculus, right? And has worried and fretted and vetted different people and different spaces and is now taking the risk to tell you, right? To be real. And oh my goodness, like the least we can do, right, is to say, wow, I am so grateful that you're letting me know. And what has it been like to hold on to that?
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
What has that been like for you? As opposed to, oh, I'm having all these feelings and this is so hard and I don't know what to do about it. Of course, of course, of course, you may have all of those feelings too. And you've got this person in front of you who has, oh my God, their lived experience is probably not yours.
wow.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So being able to stay connected to where is your child? Where is your child in that, right? What is, regardless of age, right? That could be 5-year old, that could be 35-year old. That being able to keep them in mind.
Mm, I love that. So, what does meaningful allyship look like beyond being just nice or accepting or privately supportive, right? Like, what else? And
Yeah.
you don't have to be going to every pride parade. Like,
No.
that's a thing I love, but you don't have to be doing
Yeah.
that. But there's something more than just being accepting.
Yeah.
Like there. So tell me what that is.
There's a couple things. And from my perspective, and
Hmm.
people may have different ideas about this. The two I kind of come back to again and again is naming who you are,
Mm,
right? You doing some work around what are your identities and being able to name that, right? So we introduce ourselves all the time, but I want us to get more and more practice at introducing ourselves in a way that names our pronouns,
yep.
names our marital status, names our family status, um, because those things matter. The way, right? The way we state
Hmm.
that, the way we say our sexuality, again, like it's really easy to rest in the assumptions. It is totally different to be actually naming them out loud. Because then you start thinking about how is that person going to receive that information? I don't know.
Yeah.
And we start to begin to appreciate what it might be like to not be a majority identity holder
Hmm.
in a very visceral, right, embodied way. And this is not a radical new thing. We are literally making introductions, telling people who we are constantly. So I'm just
But
asking to
that's
bring a new level of vulnerability to that exchange.
that that is mind blowing because you're exactly right. Like I have she her on
Yeah.
my Zoom. I have for years. So
Yeah.
does Carrie.
Yeah.
But it is interesting because when I go into a Zoom where I don't know anyone and I've got that, I do think like I make the assumption that they are going to not like that. I actually
Mm-hmm.
err. I always err on the
Mm-hmm.
side of like you're not going to like me because I'm a bleeding heart liberal. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
it's because I grew up in the Midwest, but it's
Mm-hmm.
deeply embodied. But I
Yeah.
never thought about it that way. But you're right. And for that hot moment,
That
I
hot
can
moment.
feel that sense of being in the minority because I don't
Yes,
know.
because you
Yeah.
don't know. And
Wow.
what that does for those, right? We don't know who's in front of us. But
Right.
what we're signaling is, I've thought about this.
Yeah.
I've thought about this. I have self-awareness and I have other awareness. And oh my gosh, that's safety. That's
Mm.
safety. So that's number one. And number two, my favorite quote of all time is Maya Angelou's quote, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them the first time.
Yep.
My goodness, that woman is profoundly wise. I mean,
Yeah.
just insane. But that, in so many ways, in so many different parts of my life, that quote has just been, God, like foundational. But here, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them
In good and bad ways.
in good and bad ways.
Yeah.
It cuts both ways.
Yep.
It cuts both ways.
If somebody says they're an ally, believe them. Give
Believe
them the
them.
benefit of the doubt. They
Give-
might still have to do some
exactly.
work, but
And
give
when-
them the benefit.
And when our young people, our beautiful young people say, I'm trans,
Yeah.
say, I want to use they, them pronouns, believe them,
Yep.
Right.
right?
Yep.
We woefully underestimate, I think, particularly with our youth, how much time that is already taken to get to that point in the conversation with you. We just have not, we really don't take into consideration what they've already thought about.
And just to piggyback on that a little bit, and I'm sure you bump up against this all the time. What frustrates me is the people that say, well, they're all like that now. They're all fluid. No, no, no. Okay. And
Yeah.
what's your
Everyone's a
point?
vegan.
Everyone's this. Well, first off, we all know if you say everything or nothing, that's right out of the gate not correct.
Right.
But
right.
even beyond that, my pushback is always, and how awesome is that? That this generation, Gen Z and beyond, understand and have language. I'll get the pushback of like, there weren't that many gay kids in my high school. I'm like, I bet there were. They didn't have language and they didn't have the safety
Right.
to be that.
That's right.
Right.
That's
and so, hallelujah.
Right.
If they're able to come to you and say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Did you have another one? I didn't want to cut you off. You said no. Okay. What I'm
Not yet.
feeling like, what I love so far about this is like, step one, step out of your lens. Like, don't make it about you. Right. Because I was also thinking, Lisa, I don't know if you go back to that conversation we had at dinner with that couple in Arizona, but they were describing their daughter coming out and how her entire family, because of religion, like didn't accept her. And then the grandparents that did, they did actually say, we don't approve, but we love you.
Right.
And that was the better situation.
Yeah.
And Lisa and I were like,
yeah.
didn't want to jump all over the grandparents that were being cool about it. But so step one is, it's not really about you. And this person I was talking about saying, I don't care, like thinking like, I don't care because that doesn't matter to me. You do. And not realizing they're getting rid of like the whole thing that took forever to tell you.
Yes.
So that's step one. Step two is this place where we sort of step in it, where we're afraid of getting it wrong. The difference between humility and just not even trying, right? And that I want to talk about a little bit too, because I was that we've had a lot of jokes with like my kids and Lisa's kids are all in their 20s and our friends, their kids. And we've gone through this with them where their irritation when we can't get the they them right because we're the generation that got like grammar, kind of beaten into us. Like, was it two people? We just sound like such dumb, and we're trying, right? And then like we were so irritated with our parents about homosexuality that they just couldn't get it.
Yes.
And so like there's this, come on, you got to catch up. And I think it's really, really important to try and risk getting it wrong than not try at all. But I would love to hear you talk a little bit about that.
About
the difference between the humility and the hiding, right? Like
okay.
For someone who wants to be a better ally but is afraid of getting it wrong.
Yeah.
Like how do you help those parents or inspire them?
With the parents who are really struggling with getting it wrong and feeling like they're not going to say the right thing, what I want to emphasize is, okay, you are so entitled to have a whole range of emotional responses. and thoughts in reaction to this. And that work is separate from your parenting, right? That is not your kid's burden. That's yours, and it needs attention, and it deserves attention. And you deserve to have spaces, whether that be a therapist, a support group, a dear friend, whatever it is. You deserve those spaces where you can say, I hate this. It scares the crap out of me. I don't know from one day to the next what to say, whatever it is, right? I'm scared to death of. You deserve spaces where you can do that. But that is not your kid's role, right? You still need to show up as their mom or their dad, right? And they need you. They are counting on you to be a resource for them, as all kids are, right? They are counting on you to provide a safe harbor for them to come home to. So one way of doing that might be, wow, I'm really struggling with this. I don't feel like a pro at this. And I really am having a hard time with that. And I am here for you. I am here for you. I'm going to figure this out. I am working really hard to figure that out. I am here for you. I love you. I am down for this, but I am having a hard time. So we're naming it, but we're not putting it on our kid, right? And the difference is language, it's semantics, but it's also hugely emotionally relevant, right? So that's the difference between saying, this is hard for me, which is kind of a plea to you're moving too fast, right? To I'm having a hard time. It's different, right?
Yeah,
It lands
totally.
different. It lands
semantics
different.
are semantics. Language is important.
But it's important.
Yeah.
It's important. One is, I know I'm having a hard time and I'm checking in with myself about that. And the other is, I need you to do something to regulate me. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
And
100%.
this is like parenting 101. Like this kind of stuff is happening all over the place, regardless of gender and sexuality journeys, right? Like this stuff happens
anything you're saying
in
here,
families.
Yeah. Take out the gender piece or the trans piece, and this is still true. Like anything that your kid brings to you, two things can be true. You can be having a hard time with it and you love them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's okay.
Totally.
That's okay. Yeah. And having a hard time can also, I think it's important. What I find with parents a lot is like, you're here now, right? This is now. It's not forever. This is not the forever place. This is a really hard part of the journey, but it's not the whole journey. I promise you. I promise you it won't be, right? So yeah, there's some work to do. And you know what? Like, trust me, in 4 weeks, that is going to feel a little bit different than it does right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that it turns around quicker than they think because it feels so heavy in the moment. Yeah, I can imagine that. All right, let's focus on the kids. So you work with gender diverse youth. What are they most needing from adults right now? Not just their parents, but adults.
Respect.
Yeah. It's that simple, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's respect. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Like the kids, whatever difficulty the adults around them are having about gender expression, right? Or pronouns or names or, right? That, okay. And this kid is still needing to go do third grade and, master reading and times tables and wants to go play with their friends after school and, is wondering what summer camp they're going to go to. Like, right? Like, they're still, so yes. Yeah. This is like a new wrinkle that you didn't expect. Teacher, coach, faith provider, right? Health provider, like, okay. And do your due diligence. right? Right. So if you want to involve that kid, then there's some work that you can do, and there's resources out there for you to learn about what that means, why that's confusing to you, how you might be able to walk through this process and support them and still have, all your struggles. So
Mm.
resource yourself.
Yeah.
Resource yourself. Yeah.
So, Rachel, you wrote that affirming kids sorry about the background noise. Hopefully
Oh,
you
I
can
don't
hear
hear
it.
anything.
No,
I don't
yeah,
You
hear
yeah.
wrote that affirming kids supports their neural, emotional, and social development,
Yeah.
which I think,
Yeah.
like, I would love to hear you explain that, what that means in everyday language, because that feels really important to
Okay.
understand.
So at this point in time, I think most of us have a general idea about healthy attachment, right? That's something that has kind of become popular psychology knowledge. And so healthy attachment meaning um, our our child, our babies, our right, from infancy on, our kids have emotional and developmental needs. They have different ways of expressing those, right? As infants, all they can do is cry, right? As toddlers, all they can do is protest, right? Right? And our job is to meet that emotion with validation, right? Containment, regulated,
Mm.
right? So that the kid knows that I can handle your emotional storms.
Mm.
They might get me going, but I can handle it. I'm the adult. I can manage that, and I can be responsive. Like, I know your diaper needs to be changed, or yes, I know you wanted the blue cup and you got the red one, right? Like, that's healthy attachment. And there's other forms of attachment, right? When like sometimes like we hit the mark and sometimes we are so off base, so totally irregular, totally inconsistent. Um, or really, really avoidant, like really shut down. Parent is incredibly shut down, just cannot, right? Is not connecting emotionally at all with their child. Um, Regardless of age, right? Whether that's happening in infancy and carries on, whether that starts presenting itself in adolescence, right? Where that attachment gets disjointed, that impacts a kid's social, emotional, neural development.
Mm.
And and we've known that for a long, long time. Right? We've known that. I think that research was done in the 1950s.
Mm.
Bowlby was writing and others after him. And I believe it was in the 1950s. So this has been around for us for a while. What that means in terms of affirmation, how I think that applies to our queer kids, our trans, our non-binary kids, around this idea of affirming them, accepting, is when a kid gets, you don't know who you are. This is a phase. You don't know what you're talking about. What lights up in their brain is uncertainty. I'm not safe. And shame.
Mm.
And if that's happening on repeat, those neural systems actually fuse, right? Because they're lighting up at the same time over and over and over again. And what fires together wires together. Okay? Those aren't my words, by the way, but they're really gorgeous.
They are gorgeous.
That's Dr. Dan Siegel. He takes credit for that. But yes, what fires together wires together. So you've got a system now that when I express what I think is true about myself, I doubt it. I question it. I don't feel confident. And I feel shame. Okay. Whereas if you've got a system where a kid is saying, this is who I am, and the parent says, yes, I get that. I see you. I hear you tell me more about that. That's attached, right? That's healthy attachment. So what's firing in those brains is, I know who I am. And when I say who I am, I'm safe, right? and I feel confident. I feel esteem. I feel congruence between what I'm experiencing and what I'm getting from the outside world. Those things wire together, and we've got a confident, empowered, trusting in self child. Make sense?
It makes so much sense.
It's pretty, it's like basic wiring stuff, but man, it ain't easy to pull off, right? That's not easy to pull off.
And I love you, but I think less people know this than you think they do. Right? Like you keep saying, we know this, right? I'm like, the three of us know it. But
well,
I mean,
good.
I imagine you're saying we know this
from the mountaintops. Then, yeah,
because every child deserves that, right? That's
well, it's
what
just
you
it.
mean.
It's not just about gender. Like so much of what you're saying. And so if you're listening to this episode, first off, I hope you're listening with the open mind that Carrie and I would want for you to be listening about whether you think you have a gender diverse person in your life or not. But regardless, this should be parenting 101, right? And so as you're speaking, I'm finding myself, not only am I technically leaning in, but I find myself feeling some tears.
Feeling some feelings.
Because I'm thinking about how many parents are not equipped to do this, right? Like we need a million of you. We don't just need you. We need a bunch of yous doing this work, right? Because what do adults often misunderstand about the stakes for gender diverse kids, right? Like if it's in your family and there's sort of this idea of like, as a parent, I'm doing the best I can. I know I'm making mistakes, but this is like, this is scary. This is scary shit if you misunderstand how your mistakes are impacting gender diverse kids.
Yeah. I think our kids want to please us.
Yeah.
Our kids, their survival is dependent on it. It is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So what they sublimate is who they are.
Mm.
And I think for those of us like myself, cisgender, hetero, white woman, married, biological parent to two amazing kids, I have won the lottery. Right?
Yeah.
So I cannot imagine anybody denying me any one of those pieces of who I am.
Mm.
I can't fathom it.
Yeah.
How devastating that would be if either of my parents, who I love, denied some part of what I just said to you.
Yep.
You don't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
How profoundly devastating that would be, and how much work I would have to do to stay in relationship to them means sacrificing a part of me. That is what we're asking these kids to do because we can't tolerate it. Whoa.
Wow.
And that's heavy. That is, and I just can't.
Family.
Yeah, family. Yeah. And I know on a variety of levels, people do this over haircuts, right? Right?
Yeah.
They do it over who you're dating. They do it over what grade you got on the calc test. There's all kinds of ways in which this manifests, clearly. But what the unintended consequence is we're saying to our kid, you can't be your full self with me.
God, that hurts.
And that's pretty painful, which has ramifications. Then how do we expect that kid to be their full selves in other relationships? Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting how hard this is hitting, and yet this is the crux of like so many of the women Lisa and I work with in other ways, right? Just like how to be trained your whole life to be something someone else wants you to be,
Yeah.
and then only, in many
Yeah.
cases to hit menopause and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
but
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
I want to go like more granular here so people really like can hear this and maybe, accidentally and helpfully identify here. But you help parents transform their parenting from anxious to empowered.
Yeah.
Which I think is just so helpful because I don't know anyone that wouldn't at some point in their parenting journey have, not admitted to it, identifying as anxious, right? About something. So like,
Yes.
what does anxious parenting often look like with the gender diverse child? Because we know plenty of people that's starting at like toddlerhood for some kids.
Yeah, it is. Well, some of it is what we were talking about in terms of really struggling internally with like, I don't think I can get on board with this, and the whole and all the anxiety of like, this isn't what I envisioned for my kid. This is so different than what I thought my family structures were going to be. So that's its own right set of anxieties. There's others who are absolutely wanting to show up and are really, really trying and are terrified of what's going on in the outside world. And there's a lot of fear of like, I can keep you safe here,
Right.
but I can't tell the rest of the world what to do. And the powerlessness that I think a lot of parents feel in regards to that. And then, their kid experiences things on the playground with a particular teacher who just can't get the pronouns right, or maybe isn't ever trying.
Right.
Or they said they could use such and such bathroom, but it's always busy because it's the one that the staff prefer. Um, you know, they're microaggressions, but they add up. And parents feel a lot of anxiety about can I fight every battle? Do I have the energy for that? I don't know I don't know what to say here. I didn't plan on being such a public advocate, but I guess now this is my role, right? I think there's a lot of fears, and understandably so, in that realm as well. And, legislatively, things are bleak.
Yeah.
There are some amazing leaders out there who are doing tremendous things. And the tide, unfortunately, has been pretty bleak. So there's reason to be scared. My kid has care now. I don't know if they're going to have it in 6 months. What do I tell them? As an example. Yeah. So I can get into how I dealt with that.
Yeah.
Please.
So the number one, I always start with, I share a lot of these fears.
Mm-hmm.
So I may be wearing my professional hat, but I am in many cases just as anxious, and I'm noticing these things too. So I am using these skills at the same time. And one of the most important for me has been bringing in a lot more trans voices into my media diet. So whether that be journalists, podcasters, authors, entertainers, bringing those voices into my regular world has been really helpful. On the one hand, because there's so much joy. Yeah. And we need as much joy as we can possibly get. And also, that's the lens I want to understand this through, right? I want to understand it through the lens of someone who is deeply and personally impacted by it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is a step that I think is really important. And I think that's across, I don't, whoever you are, I think bringing trans voices into your media diet is a really cool and fun and helpful thing to do.
Agreed.
I think along with media, we need to make sure that what we're taking in is enriching us and not enraging us.
Mm,
So I
that's
think
hard.
a regular audit, I think we really need to audit.
I know you're right, but
Yeah, I mean
I just
yeah.
walk through like this.
yeah, a little bit,
Yeah.
and
Take breaks.
take breaks.
Yep.
Something I was recommending for a while, and I was doing a little more of than honestly I'm doing right now, was to take in news only through like what I called a filter. So I wasn't taking it like I wasn't taking it directly from um I wasn't taking it directly from the New York Times. I was reading, I was reading the opinion on the case as opposed to the report
Uh,
of the case. That was one way that I was doing it. And there was something about that that helped me. It wasn't hitting my nervous system quite as hard.
yeah.
I think you have to be careful with that too, because people have their lenses and, you know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think that can be a way of doing the audit as well. Um, and I think probably the most important is yes, out here, dumpster fire, total dumpster fire. We're all in
Yeah.
agreement. And what's here? Like in your immediate world, what are those moments of joy? What are those moments of pleasure? What are those things where you are like laughing on the floor, right? Like just like because they're happening. I
Yeah.
hope they're happening, but
Yeah.
I think we really have to maybe practice, have some discipline around refocusing our attention back to what's right here. What's right? Um, and then I would say lastly, if you are fired up and mad as hell, there are so many places that could use that energy. Like
Amen.
so many places. So find your place.
Mm. Not, and you don't have to do all
Channel
the
it.
places, just find the
You don't
place
have
that
to do all
feels.
the places
Yeah.
and you can't do all the things. And if you are totally burnt out, then you need to rest. You need to,
Totally.
and you deserve the rest. Yeah.
What are some tips that you would have for parents who want to be affirming before they even understand everything that's going on? Like, what are some of the ways they can do this? Because first off, we're like you said, we're always still working on this, right? So there's
Yeah.
never an end. But what
Yeah.
are some of the easy first steps they can take?
Well, I want to even reframe a little bit the question, if that's
Sure.
okay,
Yeah, please.
which is that, and I think this is actually probably where you're going, but I'm just going to reframe that we don't need to understand to affirm or accept.
Totally.
We
Yes.
we absolutely do not. There are
Yeah,
plenty of
yes.
things we don't understand at all, and we say, oh,
That's
Totally.
true.
okay, okay.
Absolutely. Like, what the hell's going on?
You do you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of the spirit of it. So, um, yeah, I just want to hone in on
Absolutely.
on
Yep.
that on that piece of it. Um, and some of the things I just suggested, I think are ways of becoming a better ally and becoming more informed and having a deeper understanding. Um, I think what I was talking about at the very top in terms of that kind of identity awareness piece and really thinking about what are the boxes that you live in,
Yeah.
um, I think can start helping understand and helps us actually then have a lens through which we see things of like, oh my gosh, I just made this assumption about so and so, or I just saw my pregnant niece and asked, are you having a boy or a girl? Or like they are tiny little exchanges. And when we start to pay attention and pull back, right? 5 steps, 10 steps, we start recognizing this is happening in so many places
Well,
that
that's
I
a good
didn't
question. What
that
would
I
you have asked
didn't even
instead?
know.
What would you have asked your niece instead?
I
Or
would
does it
have,
even matter? Like, why do
does
you
it
care?
matter?
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
We'll find out when we find out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are really eager to share that and want to know that themselves and
Sure.
are telling you, and that's great. But I am no longer asking that
Okay.
question
I love that.
because
Because ultimately, you just want a healthy baby. It doesn't really matter.
it
Yeah.
doesn't really.
I love that. Okay.
I'm not. I don't have something. I'm not. I don't have something attached to that.
Right. You don't have a horse in the race.
I don't have a
Mm.
horse in that race. I
Yeah.
really don't. I really don't.
I love
Yeah.
that. Okay. That's my aha.
Yeah. It's funny because my husband works in obstetrics with a bunch of midwives, and they all, you know, love the surprise element of it, but also they're really just trying to train nurses and each other to let the people coming in having baby exactly show you what's important to them about bringing this healthy life into the world.
Yes.
And
Yes.
from his point of view, we never found out because my husband kind of loved the surprise. But like you
Hmm.
said, even though it's a surprise, whether you find out there months ahead, still not telling you anything about who they are. They're going to tell you who they are.
Totally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
fun. Fascinating.
That's right.
I know you touched on the culture and the politics and the polarization and all of that.
Hmm.
I would be really curious to know before we start to wrap up, because I know we're going long. Lisa and I, like, this is just something so important to both of us. Not just, I mean, not just for our listeners, but like it's just so important to us that we're talking about it more as well. So what are you most concerned about right now? And then also what is giving you hope? I would love to kind of hear both ends of that.
Mm.
It's most concerning to me. Um, I just read something before we before I was late, but before we got on with each other today. I read something earlier today, and maybe you saw this too, that in our political system, there seems to be a wave, unfortunately, in our Democratic Party that would that that see trans issues as a distraction and as problematic to the party. And I worry that that is getting traction.
Mm.
And I, it is so a byproduct, I think, of all the things we've been talking about. And it scares me what they're willing to sacrifice and really have no idea what they're sacrificing.
Yeah.
I don't think they really know. And that does scare me.
I mean,
So
we've
yeah.
got a government that is full of boomers, right? And I don't say that like derogatory. I mean, I do say it
Yeah.
derogatorily, but I mean, I'm using that.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
like we're Gen X, and I
Hmm.
know Gen X people that can't quite wrap their brain around this. What are we
Hmm.
expecting when we've got 80-year-old white men,
Yeah.
cisgendered, straight, with
Yeah.
money, white
With
men,
money. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They don't give two shits,
No.
right? So even if they're on our side, right? This is I think a distraction is the perfect word for that. You know, they
Yeah.
also don't have us any skin in the game, and because
But they
my
do.
they do have skin in the
But
game, but they
they
don't
do.
know it.
But they don't know it.
Exactly.
Mm,
And then because they're not making it safe for the LGBTQ community to be out and working on this stuff, right? Like it's this horrible like snowball effect,
It
right?
is.
And
It
and
is.
so they don't see the value in it because they're not making it safe for us to get out there and show the value in it. It's just a nightmare. So what's giving you
Yeah.
hope?
So
Help.
that yeah. So that worries me,
Yeah.
you know.
mm.
I- Um
Ugh.
So much to say about that.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
Because
I mean that.
I feel like it's that sports thing that has kind of made it so
Yeah.
Yeah,
like taking all the attention. You can't say it's such a small amount because it is.
Yeah.
And then also think the whole issue is a small amount because it isn't.
Is it? Yeah.
right.
It's like the humanity of so many countless people, and then just to have it be a political uh baton. I don't know, like and then it's all kind of getting extrapolated from rape culture. It's
Hmm.
like, well, and it becomes this safety thing, and it's all such bullshit. So yeah, it's so
Yeah.
unfair.
Well, and I just worry that they don't recognize that it's part of a larger plan
Yeah.
to really dehumanize and strip um, women.
Again,
of
anyone who's not a cisgendered, straight, white
Yeah. So
man with
I
man
just
money.
don't think they get it. And
Mm-mm.
that worries me. So um what gives me hope, the kids,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
they are it doesn't come from it comes from malice, it comes from hurt, it comes from trauma, that they are some of the most self-aware, poignant, badass people I have ever had the pleasure to meet and to serve.
Yeah.
But that there's so much power in that. Oh my goodness. I'm getting goosebumps as I tell you.
Me too. As you're saying it,
I
I can feel it.
It makes me
they are
emotional. Yeah.
Yeah.
so enlightened. There is a reason. There is a reason that for millennia in cultures across the world, these people have been our spiritual guides
Mm.
because they have feet in two worlds,
Yeah.
right? And they get it. They know it. That again. So that gives me tremendous hope.
Mm.
Just yeah,
I
tremendous.
love that because it is future thinking, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is such a scary moment in time, but it is a moment in time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, if you're listening, ugh, just think about what it would be like if it was your kid.
Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, before I start crying, as I am feeling it so in my eyes, that's like I just gotta get
Yeah,
through.
same.
All right, we'd love to talk about music. You
Yeah.
said your longtime power song, "Hello, Freedom" by George Michael.
Lovely.
The
Love,
best.
love,
The
love.
best.
But then another oldie but goodie is Sean Colvin's Diamond in the Rough. So tell me about what it is about those songs that connects with you.
Mm. When I just that anthem that George Michael released, what was that, like mid to late 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just so proud. I was just so proud of that being in the world in the way that it was and how people
Mm.
were responding to it. In some
Yeah.
cases, like oblivious, but still loving. I just thought that was so cool. And it's a phenomenal song.
Yeah.
Like
And
it's a
Really.
video.
banger.
It is
It is a
Like it
totally,
banger.
never disappoints. It never lets you down.
totally.
That's
It
true.
doesn't, it ages beautifully.
Yeah.
Mwah.
It's true.
It's just gorgeous. So I love that song. And the other one, similarly to Maya Angelou's quote, has kind of been a song since I heard it, where regardless of where I was in my life, it's just like it hits so deep in there, I can't even tell you.
Mm,
It really,
Mm.
there's something about those lyrics and sung with I mean, she really has an earnestness, I think,
hmm.
to her voice. I mean, oh my God, it makes me cry.
I love it.
It really hits some very powerful. notes for me. And yeah, regardless of time,
I
regardless
love
of
it because
time.
it's two totally different. It's so diametrically opposed, but both of them just give you it. Both of them give you the feels.
Yeah, they're
Both of
both
them give me
so
the feels.
evocative of
Yes.
Yes.
what
Yes.
we've been talking about too. I love it.
Mm.
Yeah. 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 Oh, you guys,
I know.
you're the best.
First off, we have to bring you back. I mean, there's just Zippo
Aw.
question. We have to bring you back. What for our list? I think what's so interesting is both all three of us were like processing this. Carrie and I are processing as you're speaking, right? Like
Mhm.
there's not usually this much space in between answers and questions, but I'm watching Carrie and where I'm just the three of us were just like, huh, the whole
Hmm.
Yeah.
time. So thank you for allowing that for
Oh my
us. This
gosh.
is so powerful.
Delight.
Um, what do you want?
Gosh.
What's one thing? And I'll even let's say one small or easy thing that every ally should understand.
Ooh,
Sorry, was that a bigger question than I meant it to be?
I think it is.
Sorry.
Well, I guess we were talking about this maybe before we started record that I think we overcomplicate it.
Mm,
I think the fear of the unknown, the fear of the unfamiliar can get in our way of doing just what we instinctually know to do,
mm,
right? Like I really do believe more than anything people are good and
yeah,
people want to show up for each other. That we really lead with love more often than not. So don't let fear confuse you, right? Your instinct to like be there and show up, that's good. Don't fight it.
that is a mic drop. What you instinctively feel like you should do, your critter brain is going to attack you and say, "But this you might not be safe."
Yeah.
That's possibly true, but maybe also not. And
I
what are
think you're just going to be uncomfortable.
exactly, exactly.
Yes.
You're not going to
Mm,
be unsafe. You're just going to be uncomfortable.
yep,
And you can tolerate that. You
totally.
really can. You really can because your instinct is to love. It is.
Mm. Gosh, I love this. Is there anything else that we didn't cover that any parent out there is listening that you'd want to make sure that they took from this?
Um, well, you're going to share all the places they can find me, and please come find
Yes.
me. I am more than happy to consult, talk, hear your thoughts, good, bad, or otherwise. Um, I um I have availability if people are interested in working. Um, and for the parent coaching I do, I can work across state lines. It's sometimes a question people have.
Oh, that's good to know.
Um, and this is you just made my heart is so full right now. I'm like
Oh.
Same.
bursting. So thank you so much for the time.
Oh my gosh, thank you for being on. And I am connected with Rachel on LinkedIn. She does some really powerful stuff. And it might seem like that's a weird place to do, but LinkedIn is, you know what? That's exactly where we need to be. So
Absolutely.
you are doing some really, really great stuff on LinkedIn. And I'm proud to see you out there shouting
Thank
from the
you.
rooftops in a place
Thank
that
you.
on paper wouldn't necessarily seem like the place to do it, but LinkedIn's changing a little bit in that way. And you're taking the bull by the horns. So I love it.
I will do one plug. I have a fairly new thing called an affirmation style quiz. And if
Oh,
parents are curious to
Ooh.
kind of find out where they are on their
love that.
affirmation line, that they can find that on my website.
Ooh.
Okay.
And it's right on the homepage. They can
Perfect.
also go to my website, rachelhlow.com /affirmation hyphen quiz if they want to go directly to it. And they'll get a little bit of information about where they are and what steps they could take next to maybe move the needle.
Mm,
Excellent.
this is so
Okay.
great.
We will make sure that is in the show notes.
Yep.
I
Yep.
just have to say, early on in my career, like in my early 20s, I was working at a youth shelter, well, a youth services program that included a youth shelter in Nashville. And I um, just really admired this woman who, was not just heading up all the counseling services for families and teens with this program, but for the whole state of Tennessee. And I asked her, what do you think is the biggest difference between the teens that are like volunteering as peer educators and hotline, call, call takers, and the kids who end up in the shelter? And she said, it's never what you think. It's never about, money or even
Mm.
race or background. It's totally the difference is this group has grown-ups in their life that let them tell them who they are, and these don't. These like have no grown-up in their life that's like letting them be who they are, or is even giving them space to express that. And that is coming back to me with full body chills
Yeah.
today, because I think that
Yeah.
is just so much about
Yeah.
what you're saying. So thank you so much. And I'm so grateful, Lisa. And you made this happen. Um, I would love to have you back, and just
Mm.
thank you for talking so openly, and so like you're so articulate and then yet so kind and gentle
Oh,
with it all.
wow.
Just to teach people about allyship, affirmation, parenting, making space for that, and what it means to show up for the LGBTQ people they love.
They love. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm. And to our listeners, thank you so much for listening. We are always so glad you're here. Please, please share this. It is Pride Month. Please share this far and wide. This is so important, and it is only the beginning of the conversations that the three of us will continue to have. So thanks again, Rachel, for being on.
You bet. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.